Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty sits on the Foreign Relations Committee. He joins us now. I wanted to play a little bit of what Mike Waltz said at the hearing today. Let's listen to this.
In just 6 months, President Trump has brought dozens of hostages home, justice for our Abbey Gate Gold Star families, secured the border, denied Iran a nuclear weapon, brought ceasefires to conflicts in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Yet there is still tremendous work to be done. I'm confident under this president's leadership, we can continue to spread peace and prosperity, and I'm confident we can make the UN great again.
Well, that last statement may be somewhat in question, but how do you see this hearing proceeding, Senator?
Well, I think that Mike Waltz did a good job in the hearing. He's taking on a very challenging organization, that's the United Nations. And John, if you think about it, the original charter of the UN was about bringing peace, justice, and human rights to the world. And it's so far divorced now from what it originally what it was originally intended to be. I mean, today it's a completely politicized organization, very often working counter to the interest of the United States and our allies. And frankly, quite often, much too often, it's been captured by authoritarian regimes to do their bidding. So the United Nations has a lot of room to improve. I think one of the most egregious examples that came up a couple of times during the hearing with Mike Waltz was what happened on October the 7th, 2023. Yeah. At that point, Hamas was assisted by UN personnel in attacking Israelis. The United Nations has done everything to sort of dismiss that, yet at every turn, their leadership seems to want to criticize Israel. There are real problems at the UN, and I think it's a real opportunity to send a leader in to make quite a difference for the United States and make certain, as a steward of taxpayer dollars, that our dollars are being spent in a way that's effective and works well for the American people, not being abused in the way they have been. Those dollars have been, up to this point, by the leadership of the United Nations.
Certainly criticisms of the United Nations are nothing new. I remember John Bolton back in the Bush administration famously saying you could take the top 10 floors off the United Nations building and wouldn't make a lick of difference there. But this was not so much about the United Nations as much as was Mike Waltz to a large degree. Senator Chris Coons bringing up that now infamous signal chat that happened earlier this year. Listen to what he said.
I was hoping to hear from you that you had some sense of regret over sharing what was very sensitive, timely information about a military strike on a commercially available app that's not, as we both know, the appropriate way to share such critical information.
Again, Senator, I think where we have a fundamental disagreement is there was no classified information on that chat.
I mean, pretty clearly that was the beginning of the end for him as the National Security Advisor at the White House, but does it disqualify him from being ambassador to the United Nations?
No, I don't think so. And as he said, and as many people have said, the information that was passed was not classified. Would I have done it that way? Would you have done it that way, John? In retrospect, perhaps not. You know, I think there was a serious mistake made, a glitch, if you will, in terms of how the name roster was managed and the fact that somebody was there in the wrong spot. But with all that said, there wasn't classified information involved. I don't believe it's disqualifying in any respect.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens as the confirmation process moves forward. Senator, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate your time.
Always good to be with you.
All right.